G'day Spurs fans, Paul Hotspur Hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. I hope you're all well out there, just taking a break as usual. I've managed to find this really cool place. There's a few trees here. It's surrounded by roads on all sides, but you'd never guess it. So I was just looking at a little bit of reaction to our pre-season friendly against Reading. Not so much in the Spursosphere, but more in trad media. A little bit of Spursosphere. And it's, this is a nice place to sit down actually. I don't know, look, I'm going to be a hypocrite here. I'm the first person that gets carried away. More during a season, but also before a season, saying the quad's on and things like that. But I think there's so much hot and cold reaction to the way our players perform in pre-season. And I usually take the line, if we win a game, it's a sign of things to come. But if we lose, it don't matter. But really, pre-season is totally different to the rest of the year. When you're busily competing, you're trying to keep a balance between fitness, you know, keeping your form really high, and fatigue. So when your muscles start to, you know, break down a little bit, because that's always what happens when you do rigorous exercise. They break down, repair a bit, and you get extra fibers and you get stronger. So during a season, you're trying to manage that much more so. So you might, I don't know exactly how it works, but you might play a game on the weekend and then have a day off, then do some hard training. But before your next game, you might also take some time off just to make sure you're in tip-top form. But pre-season, as far as I understand, that I've heard players talk about, you know, is totally different. You've come off the previous year's campaign, and many players will have been carrying niggles and knocks throughout the year, and then they've got that month, if they're lucky, to try and get some of that sorted out for a start. But if not, some of them, I guess, you know, not let themselves go a bit. I mean, I don't think anyone lets themselves go completely, but you're not facing that sharp edge of competition all the time. And so when you come back for pre-season, you have to really you have to torture yourself to get right back up and get that eye of the cockerel back. And I'm guessing, with a little bit of insight, that's why you generally see, especially in the first couple of pre-season friendlies, that players will only play 45 minutes. It's not just about finding the best 11 and things. It's the players. They're flogging themselves to death. They're taking no break, and then they're playing 45 minutes of football. Now, what's brought me onto this was, I mean, I've been having conversations with people, but also the two contrasting views of two of our players. One, I've seen things about our captain Son Heung Min, you know, saying his legs have gone. Now, in that game against Reading, yeah, he wasn't quite as sharp. He did look a bit buggered, but you've got to bear in mind that Son came back to training camp way later than everyone else. I think he only came back, it was maybe, I don't think it was even 2 weeks ago. It was after other players, so he'd been playing international football, and then I think he had some family things or something like that. He had permission from the club to come back late, and a player that's got that sharp touch, when he ain't sharp, he ain't going to be very good. But that doesn't mean to say his legs have gone. It just means he's got to flog himself, as all players do, to get that extra little sizzle back. So people writing Son off just after that game, I don't understand it. The time to make judgments like that, well, it's not my judgment to make for a start, it's no one's judgment to make apart from himself and the club, is during the season. I know when I used to do competitive cycling, like week in, week out, I race in 40 kilometre, they're called criterion races, which they're absolute torture. But now and then I do like a 200 kilometre run, and I'd know that because of this form and fitness thing I'm telling you about, that I would basically not do any exercise for a whole week before I did one of those runs. And then a couple of days beforehand, I'd just try and fill myself with as many carbs like rice and pasta and stuff like that. And you'd feel awful. You'd feel like you're getting out of shape and all that, but you have to do it, because if you don't do it when you need it, you're going to injure yourself and you ain't going to be able to do it. So that's more of the stuff, that's kind of the way you're doing during the season. But pre-season's all about getting back up to it, and it's go, 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 go. So on the one hand, you've got people writing Son Heung Min off, which I think is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And then on the other hand, people saying things like about Vuskovic, generational talent. And you've got to be careful, I think. I know I'm prone to do this as well, don't get me wrong, but it's something I'm trying to get stuck in my head, is especially with young players. You have to keep it level. You can't, because I think, you know, us out here in internet land, even big channels, small channels, we do have a bit of, well, I always try and bear in the back of my mind that players or people at the club may watch what I'm doing. And I know that for sure that has happened a couple of times. I know for sure people have watched it a couple of times. And so I'm very mindful of, you know, what would I say to someone's face? And I try and keep it that way. But also, when you're talking about players, particularly younger players, again, I'll give you two contrasting examples this year. So Luka Vuskovic, who I reckon I like the look of him, and he's a Croatian international. But then to go overboard and say like generational talent and all these other superlatives, it's like, oh my Lord. It's something I'm not comfortable with for a couple of reasons. One, it can get to a player's head. And another thing is when you use these adjectives. Another one is legend. Legend's one that really annoys me. Particularly, you know, on the odd occasion, I've been called a legend and I hate it. You know, it's just this, you know, you go on someone's stream and they say, oh, he's a legend. Well then, what's Danny Blanchflower? What's Dave Mackay? I mean, what's Muhammad Ali? If you're calling everyone a legend, then what is the word you use for people that warrant that mantle? You've got nowhere to go. You've painted yourself into a corner. So you've got, on the one hand, blowing so much smoke up someone's arse, and if it gets back to them, you know, you look at what people say about good football managers, and I'm talking about Bill Nick. I'll use him as an example. You know, straight down the line. Was very didn't praise much. In fact, there's one story. Who was it? Was it Alan Mullery? I think it might have been Alan Mullery. As he was coming off, Bill Nicholson gave him a pat on the back, which was like, whoa, what's this? And Alan Murray commented on it, and Bill Nick said, be careful, a pat on the back is only 2 foot away from a kick up the arse. And players understand that, players respond to that, you know. You let things go to your head and you lose. No matter who you are, man, it does affect your psychology. So on the one hand, we're going overboard on Luka Vuskovic. Hey, look, as I said, he looks good. It could be a good player, but people are already saying he's going to be a legend for Tottenham, and oh my Lord, it's just too much. It's too much. Then on the other hand, you've got extreme criticism. Now, I've mentioned the criticism of Son, which is one thing, but I remember maybe it was last season. No, it was when we actually bought Brennan Johnson. Again, at the time, fairly young, and people all straight away, why do we pay that much money for him? What a waste of money. And if you remember, he left social media, which I think is a great idea, because it was too much flack he was getting, and a lot of it was from our own fans. So that can get a player down the other way. And I mean, after all, Brennan Johnson, it doesn't matter how much we pay for him because he's made it back, because with his mystery goal in the Europa League final, what do we get for Champions League? I don't know, what was it, 100 million quid or something like that? So he's paid for himself more and more over. So it's something I'm going to try and do, and I'm going to try and follow my own words here, but I get it, it is difficult, and I probably will cock it up from time to time, but I want to try, especially with the young players, just try and keep it level. Look, when they do well, brilliant. But not, oh my Lord, they're the new Messi, they're the new Zinedine Zidane, they're a club legend. And also when they struggle or have a hard time, not, oh, what a waste of money, why are we buying yet another kid, why don't we get experienced players, this is a waste of time. Because we have seen that the world of the internet, even though I think it's a right load of old bollocks and doesn't really affect me, this is not my world anymore. This is a younger generation's world, and that's how they communicate, that's how they pass the time. I think it's not healthy, but hey, that's the way the bloody world is. And so what we say on YouTube or Twitter or social media can get to them, and also it can create like a snowball. Things do catch on unbelievably easy on the internet. The weirdest things. I remember, I don't know, it was about 10 years ago now. It was another channel I was doing, which isn't around anymore, but one of my videos went sort of viral. It got like over 600,000 views, and it wasn't, it was the same shit as I was doing in the other ones, but that's the one that caught on. So you just don't know. And it creates noise. It creates noise. There was a lot of noise created around the team last year that was negative. And so for all we may say, that the league form was unacceptable and all that blah blah last year, we were part of that. We were part of that pressure that the then gaffer, Ange, and the players had to play through. And I'd like this year to be just a bit fucking calmer, basically. That's all. Now, I see in the Spursosphere, there are some people saying, oh, let's unite behind the team and the manager. The same people that were saying anyone who supports Ange is an Ange sexual or member of a cult last year, they've changed their tune this year. We'll see how far that goes. But I think if we want this team and we want Thomas Frank to have the best chance of succeeding, or at least performing at their best, we've got to give them the right sort of support. And it's the same message as I was saying last year. If we do struggle, don't lose your shit. Don't lose your shit, because that noise gets to the team and it don't help. It shouldn't affect things. I get it. I'm an old fart too. It shouldn't bloody well matter, but it does. So I'm going to try and keep level, especially pre-season. When the season gets going, then especially if I'm talking to fans from other clubs, I'm always going to say our players are better than theirs, which is why you will never ever see me do one of them poxy, you go on, like, say who we're playing first in the year. Oh, not Burnley, I can't use them as an example. Let's say Liverpool. And I would never go on a channel with a Liverpool fan and pick a best combined 11, because I ain't conceding shit. We're going to have Vicario in goal, we're going to have Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Destiny Doggy. That's just what I would do. So that's why I'm never going to do it, because it would be shit viewing. So it's just, I don't know, really black and white. Some of the coverage I'm seeing is black and white already, and we haven't even got started yet. Well, I think there was, like I said in my review, there were some good things we saw yesterday, the day before. Hang on, it's Monday today? No, it was yesterday morning. It's all a blur when it was midnight. I don't know, clocks and time. Oh, so confusing. But as the matches go on, I'm not going to read anything into it. Win, lose or draw. When we get to PSG in the Super Cup, that's a competitive game, and I think it's only 3 days before the Premier League starts in anger. So, You know, I'm going to count that one. But as far as Luton, Bayern, Munich, Arsenal, hey, look, if we play some good football, that always puts a smile on my face. But if we're struggling, I don't think you can judge a player on pre-season. Some of them are, like I say, some of them are recovering from niggles that we don't even know about. Some of them might have had therapy, stuff. I don't know. It's none of our business. It's not our concern. The training regime is very different. So if you're lacking a bit of sharpness, that can happen. It doesn't mean you've lost all your football skill, because you've still got your football brain. We'll wait to see what happens when the season starts. That's when it all goes. And after saying all that, I'm going to say the quint is on. The quint is on. Super Cup, Premier League, Champions League, Mickey Mouse Cup. Who's it sponsored by? Is it still Carabao? Shouldn't call it Mickey Mouse. That cup, the Milk Cup, the Rumbelows Cup. You know the one I'm on about. And the FA Cup. We'll have all 5. There you go. So I'm going to break my own rule. But I'm not going to start calling players bloody legends, generational talents, a future whatever of Tottenham. And also I'm not going to say what a disaster, what a crap Bayern, all this sort of stuff. If they've got a Tottenham Hotspur shirt on, I just want them to do their best. That's all you can ask for. It's not their fault they've come to the club. Well, it is a bit, I suppose, but the players are who we've got. That's it, and I'm going to support every single one of them, and I hope they do really well, and good luck to them all. Till next time, I'll say, peace and love, man, and come on you Spurs.